Welcome back to the Project K podcast, and today for episode 8 we have Dylz. How you doing, bro?
What's up, bruv? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So for those that may not know who you are, I don't know why they wouldn't, because you're such a prominent figure in the Wellington scene. But yeah, for those that don't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dylz, hailing from Porirua. I represent a crew called Oneroof. Been doing this for about coming up on 9 years now, and just trying to make a difference in the scene, keep that genuine, authentic shit going, and bring some new life into the game.
Nice. And I think we might have briefly touched on this last year, but how did music start for you, and where did it start for you? Did you grow up around a musical background, or?
Nah, I'm pretty much the only sort of musical dude in my family. I don't really know where it started actually. Like, I probably would have touched on it and just would have said what come to mind, but I don't really know, to be honest. I've just always had something in me that's like pushed me to be musical, and I don't know. I always just felt like I was here to just fucking spread a message or like help motherfuckers do shit. Sorry for my swearing if I swear enough.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, beep, beep, beep. Put the swear counter up right here.
And so you rap, you have a studio at your place.
Yep.
How have you found it, like, transitioning into this next stage you're going through, which is curating events? Because, like, a few weeks ago you had your first one, Rags to Riches, going at the Red Square, and then you've got the next one happening next week in Matariki weekend.
Yep. It's been challenging, to say the least, but also eye-opening of how easy it can be as well. It wouldn't be as easy without the connections that I've made through all this music stuff. It's one thing that I lean on quite a bit, just all the networking and connections that I've made with people over the years, just showing up and showing them love and putting on for them as much as I can, and then they return it later down the line. It's been dope. A few hiccups here and there that I have to overcome and battle with, and just event promoters and managers and so on and so forth. But it's usually good and all good good interactions with most of them anyway. And it's been dope. Just like thinking of what can be done or who we can get in and involved in the city and the scene.
Yeah. And what made you kind of want to get into doing that kind of stuff, like doing events?
I don't know. Pretty much just the love of the music in the shows. Like, I always said to myself that I wanted to put on shows that I never got put on. You know, like, I just always felt like there was a gap in the market of how a show can be, and paying your artists, that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm here to pay the artists what they're worth, because I know what being an artist like, and doing a million shows for exposure or for the love or for a bar tab, you know, like. So, like, I want to get my artists paid first and foremost, and just put on a good time and a good event for the people in Wellington.
Yeah.
Because I remember how it was back in the days too, like when I first came on the scene, like, man, Wellington was popping, you know. And then it sort of just fizzled out. COVID definitely put a fucking bullet in that for a bit, but, you know, we're bubbling back up, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah. That's good, man. And do you put these shows on, like, yourself? Like, I know you say you do rely on the connections that you've made to make these happen, but is there anyone else helping you behind the scenes with these shows?
No, not really. It's just me and the connections. But like, shout out to DJ Shan from Aotearoa DJ Academy. He's a key figure in Wellington scene. He knows a lot of people in a lot of places where you can perform. Excuse me. DJ Raw, he helps me a lot with the sound. Really couldn't do it without both of them, to be honest. But other than that, no, it's pretty much just me. Just using the knowledge that I've picked up along the way and working with other people. Like Gigi, Double G, shout out to him, shout out to Colin, Dirty Mike, two cats that have been running shows. Shout out to Jay Paul, he ran some shows back in the day. Paige, Neighborhood Collective, I sort of just pick and take the little things that I feel like they do well and apply them to myself, and then take what I do and do that as well. And I hope some people can do that with me as well,
Yeah.
Look at what I do and then say like, nah, he doesn't do that right, and then level me up, like beat me, one-up me. Like, I want the scene to grow, and I feel like that's the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was a pretty good show that you put on for the first one while I was there, and with running a show of that kind of like magnitude, because to me it seemed like quite a big task to like tackle for your first show as well. Like it wasn't like, I'm not putting them down at anything like that. It's not like a Valhalla show.
Yeah.
It was at Red Square with a headliner as well, and
Yeah.
like what kind of challenges and struggles did you come up against when you try to organise that show?
Pretty much for the headliner for that first one, it was Nels from Auckland, a young cat doing absolutely insane numbers online and stuff, and I didn't really know him, but I had people in my circle that were saying that he was big, and it'd be good for the Wellington fan base to get a look of what he's about, and like some of these other shows like the Valhallas and the Meows and the other little shows that we put on with the local venues, they're mean, but I just wanted to have that point of difference and bring someone down so we can start bridging those gaps between Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, start getting some involvement from the outer city acts so they can see what we do down here and how we put on a good event, and just prove to them that our scene's not dead, because from their eyes, they don't see what we do in the underground. They don't see our scene, and our scene's so fucking dope, like,
oh yeah,
it's so dope. So yeah, like, I just wanted to be that bridge for that sort of connection.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the time when I'm conducting these interviews with artists, we do tend to touch on that all the differences between like the Wellington scene and the Auckland scene, and a big thing that comes up is that like the main difference is that in Auckland it is very cliquey up there, and me and Teason talked about this, like everyone is just in their own lane and they are focusing on their come up, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just very different to how we do things down in Wellington, where it's just so together.
Yeah.
And that strikes me as like the biggest difference as well, because Wellington is very, everyone's coming up together.
Yeah, for real. I have noticed as of late though, to touch on that, the inclusivity, or how we include so many people in Wellington, can also be a detriment, because there's also a barrier of talent. Like, it doesn't matter how friendly and nice you want to put it, at the end of the day there's some people that are better than others, and that's just facts. That's not personal. There's no ill will or bad feelings about it. Some people are just better and deserve to have that spotlight or shine and stuff. So when you talk about Auckland being cliquey and that, it's pretty much because they've separated themselves mahi-wise and work ethic-wise from their peers, and that's why they stand out as a clique, in my opinion anyway. And that's a big thing about Wellington, is like, we've got such a huge fucking pool of talent, but we're all funneling everyone into one show here, one show there, one show here, when we should all be doing 6-7 shows a month at every venue in Wellington, getting everyone on stage so we can all get better as a group. Whereas right now, the people that are putting in the mahi are only getting gradually better by the terms that they've been put on by others.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, and a lot of people can get sour if you don't put them on as well. Like, I've come to terms with that. Like, there's been so many gigs where I've expected to be on, never been even called. And I never hold no grudges or anything about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's like a thing nowadays anyway where, like, if you don't get called up, you know, people will tend to like, oh, nah, fuck that cunt, or harbour that weird energy.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in public and, like, out there, they do it behind closed doors and so on and so forth. And I feel like that's another part of why, like, there's that energy or that, like, clickiness in Auckland. It's to separate that, you know, because those Auckland guys all back each other 100%. And there's none of that, like, if we get put on, you know, oh, fuck, why wasn't I put on? Or, you know, I deserve that, you know, and that's what those Auckland guys do so well. They back each other to the fullest, but they also hold each other accountable, and they tap the level of talent. Like, when they see someone that's talented, you know, very talented, they'll push them forward.
Yeah.
Not raise the people that aren't as talented up to their level and make them feel like they're the same level.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the point of difference. Like, we need to hold ourselves accountable down here because the pool of talent's so big, you know.
Do you think that's a kind of like a mentality, not issue, but kind of like a mentality thing with, because I mean, it's no secret that, you know, when you're up in Auckland, it's definitely a different vibe up there compared to down here. Like, do you think it's like a mentality issue with how we are in Wellington?
Yeah, it definitely could be, bro. Like, because it's just for our people in general. We're creative and open and way more free. Like, it's not as serious. Like, that's the sort of tone you get in Auckland, you know. It's like, oh, fuck, you know. Watch these guys, fuck, they're a bit serious, you know. But we've got serious shit down here too. But we don't take ourselves that seriously. And that's that whole thing, like, in Wellington, that's why we can include so many people, is because even if you are a real motherfucking G and you're the heartiest cunt in the fucking room, you're not going to be that guy when you're talking to someone from a different creed or culture, you know? Like, you include everyone, you talk to them as a person, first and foremost, and that's the difference I feel. Like, Wellington's just really like that. Like, it's just fucking free and creative like that.
Yeah, man.
But Auckland, yeah, it is like that. It's got a bit of a different feeling, eh? It's almost like, fuck, it's like, I don't know, like the big smoke almost, you know? Like,
it does seem like not to get real cliche about it, but it does seem like the whole big city vibe of it, like Auckland.
Yeah.
Like, that's so highly spoken of as well, especially with the artists that come out of Auckland.
And you see so many people too, like, leaving their cities to go move to Auckland in hopes of something better, you know. I've always been against that as well, because, like, that's how our cities stay stagnant, you know. We lose all our talent to other cities or other countries because they don't feel like they can make it here. But you can make it wherever the fuck you are. Like, it's the person that makes it. It's not the fucking environment. Like, but that's another thing, eh? Like, people will say, oh, the big smoke, Auckland, you know, we'll move there and get everything done. But I've seen so many people move up there and just be the same fucking person they were in Wellington or Christchurch or wherever, you know.
Well, I've also heard that, like, it's almost like a similar thing up in Auckland as well, where, you know, some people kind of, I mean, I don't know if they think this, but almost like they think they're too big for Auckland, so they might jump ship to, like, Australia or like the UK, and, you know, they come up against the exact same thing. Yeah,
exactly. If not even harder, because there's more population in the cities they go to. So, like, you're jumping from a niche little market. I always said, like, you got to conquer your city, then your country, and then the world, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you have your whole country behind you. You have your whole city behind you, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just one New Zealander with fucking 1,000 followers, 2,000, 3,000, even like 10,000 followers, in the grand scheme of things, you're nothing to the world if you've got no one behind you, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that's my philosophy for it. It's like, why do you need to move away? Like, build yourself, back your city, you know? Like, and your city will back you. Yeah. And that growth will happen naturally and organically, and you won't need to force it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because in Auckland, I was talking to Eliezer. We were touching on this, like, subject as well, about, like, when cats decide they want to jump ship. they'll essentially almost be starting from zero in a different place.
Exactly,
and you know, like you said, in a place with a larger population as well, and that just makes it just as hard.
Exactly, man. You know, like you got a population, like say you want to move to London or whatever. You know, they got double New Zealand's whole population in that one city.
In that one city, yeah.
You know, and also people go, oh, well, that means double the opportunity. Well, no, not really, because there's 3-4 times the amount of people thinking that in your pool.
Yeah,
know?
like with a larger population will also come a larger pool of artists that are doing the exact same thing that you're trying to do.
Exactly. From all around the world too, like in a place like that, London or even Wellington, like it's a melting pot, you know.
Yeah.
So people come here in hopes of things, but it's honestly down to the person.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like it's also you gotta have a certain perspective on how you kind of like view like the music scene and like the trajectory that you want as an artist as well. It's almost like, you know, what you were referring to before about, you know, when shows are put on and, you know, you see that you're not on that show, like you got to have a certain perspective to not get pissed off about it, you know?
Always.
Yeah, and
it's a big ego thing for a lot of people as well, but like, I don't know, it's tough for me to talk on because I feel like I'm very self-aware.
Yeah.
So like when I feel my ego getting big, I'm like, fuck, you know, calm down, check it, bruv. Like, whereas like people will be egotistical or like, I don't know, envious or jealous without even knowing, like a second nature type shit, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't have that self-awareness to be like, fuck, I'm being petty or I'm being fucking ugly right now, you know?
Yeah, well, you can kind of get away with it. I mean, not get away with it, but kind of ride that wave because if something, you know, good happens for you, it's very easy to get caught up in, you know, the hype yourself.
Yeah, facts.
You know, it's like we said, you just gotta kind of just bring yourself back down to earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm a big believer in secondhand happiness. Like if I see one on my team win, if I see someone I know win, I get happy from that. Like I get happy like if I won that shit, you know, like, and I don't feel like there's many people that do that these days, and that's a big trait that like people should take up because there's nothing wrong in seeing more of us win, you know.
Oh yeah, you got to be very got to have a certain level of self-awareness to, you know, be happy for other people that are in the same lane as you, and you know, yeah.
And that's the thing too, like I always say that too, like it sounds almost contradictory, like I'm like, oh, we've got to tap the level of talent, like, you know, make sure people are accountable and that, and then I'm like, oh, we can all win and we can all eat, like,
yeah,
it's almost contradictory of me to say, but in the same sense, like, nah, like if you're lacking in talent or lacking in any sort of way, like I'd prefer to like be able to tell you that without you getting sour or hurt, and I'd be able to like help you if I can, you know, or put you onto people that I know that can help you. But a lot of people can't separate themselves, you know, it's their personal shit. They get attacked or they put it on themselves directly, and it's like, nah, bro, like just be rational, like separate yourself and look at the facts, you know, like let's see how you can grow. Let's fucking work together, you know.
Yeah. You're like you kind of have to just, you know, take each thing as it happens and kind of just learn from it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's you know, I'll admit I've had times where it's, you know, I've gotten caught up in something which honestly looking back I really shouldn't have, because it's just, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I've been a victim of getting too ahead of myself, and
oh, bro, we all have. You know, you're not fucking human if you haven't. You know, like But that's that whole thing. It's about that acknowledgement. You know, being able to find yourself, even in hindsight, looking back and acknowledging those moments and being like, yo, you know, I was a bit fucking out the gate there. Like, let me calm down. But it's mean because that helps you grow when you're moving forward. You know.
Yeah, no, it helps to have a good like group of people around you as well, and surrounding yourself with
facts,
kind of like-minded individuals who, you know, it's hard to come by, but who will call you out on your shit when you get too ahead of it.
Exactly. Like I love when people call me out, bro. Like I want to be proven wrong. I want to be told that this isn't the way or whatever, and then shown how, because I want to grow. Like, and everybody that knows me knows I'm that motherfucker. Like I'm a controversial. I'll say it blunt. Like I don't care, you know. Because at the end of the day, it's not about feelings for me. It's about the music and like just like, you know, growth, like being better as people, like separate all that fucking personal shit and just learn to like grow and take on lessons as they come. It's like that for real.
Yeah, like it's taken me a while to get to that kind of point because, you know, you're gonna just have to have a certain perspective and like just kind of learn from stuff that happens to you and not take it too personally.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're just trying to, like, the people who tell you this kind of stuff is just, you know, they care about you and they want what's best for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, like people can always hit you up about being right. Like, you know, oh, you're always trying to be right. It's like, no, I'm not trying to be right. Like, I'm just factual. Like, I'm trying to get the best out of the situation, whether it's for me or not. Like, I've always said, like, people could blow up tomorrow and never come and see me ever again, and I wouldn't hold it against them. You know, I'd be happy because I was a part of their journey and so on and so forth. Like, it's just like that, eh? Like, that growth. Like, it's about the growth at the end of the day as a human and as an artist.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I want to come back to the Rags to Riches show, the one that you're hosting next week.
Yep.
You got a headliner for this one. Quite a big headliner, I might add, in terms of music, New Zealand music history.
Yeah,
like Sid Diamond, like, how'd that one come about?
Well, one of the bros, Levan, shout out to Levan, he was opening for T-Penny and Young Sid up in Hawke's Bay. And I was just there with the bro Hutana, shout out to the bro Hutana, James Hugh Tanner from Oneroof. We were just kicking it in the smokers area after he'd finished. He'd come out to just like have a yarn with the bro James because they're tight. And James introduced us, so on and so forth. We're like, yeah, mean, fuck, we're rappers, blah, 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 all good. And I was like, oh, I'll hit you up later, you know. And he was like, yeah, mean, sweet as. Fucking like almost a year later, I hit up the bro. I was like, fuck, what do you reckon the bro will charge? Do you reckon he'll be heaps? Like, fuck, he's a bit like famous, you know. And bro's like, bro, you know, just ask him, just hit him up, see what he says. Yeah. So I called him, and yeah, I was like, fuck, this fella, like, he's just so humble. Like, I messaged him and I was like, bro, like, what do you reckon? And he was like, oh, bro, like, whatever's easy for you. Like, you know, he was like real humble and just down to earth. And it was buzzy because for me, like, I always, when I was a young buck, like, that's who I listened to when I was in college. Like,
hell yeah. Like, bro, I remember him and, you know, Smash Proof as
exactly,
well.
Exactly, bro. Straight up, like, for years, like, that's Young Sid, that's Sid Diamond, like, fuck, this motherfucker, like, and now I'm, like, just talking to him on some shit, like, it's buzzy as, but once we sorted a number, I was like, sweet, fucking sent him the coin, and then that's that, you know, like, once you lock in that headliner, you can get to work on all the rest, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing, like, I'll try to lock the headliner down, and then just get to work on getting all the other artists and everyone involved and paid.
And so do you have, like, do you kind of like have just like a pool of artists that you would like have lined up for this next show? Like, you know that you want to ask this person or this person? And
yeah, I've got like a mad list of different artists. Like, it's hard as too when I'm putting them together because it's like, fuck, like I don't want to reuse cats, but then I'm like, nah, because I believe in a couple of cats that, you know, like always crowd pleasers and shit, and they always bring people through and they do their part on ticket sales and stuff too. Like,
yeah.
It's not just like, some people just get put on and they don't even promo, they don't do nothing. They're just there on the night, you know, and it's like, you know, it's hard to work with those cats because they just think they're the star of the show. But it's like, yeah, when I'm putting these ones together, I've got a big ass list. Like, and when some people miss out, it's like, fuck, ratchet. But I know that I've got so much more planned that it's not like cunts are going to miss out.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go to all sorts of different venues over Wellington. Yeah. And I just wanted this year to be my first few shows to get my credibility up and then start building a bigger brand and getting way bigger names coming into Wellington and hopefully internationals as well.
Yeah. No, yeah, that'd be good to get some international people in. But I do think it's a good idea, like you said, to kind of just get established where you are, bro. And then, you know, just slowly. It's
what they say, slow motion is better than no motion. Bro. Straight up.
I know you also got, so wait, let's go through who's on the lineup. There you got Sid Diamond as the headliner. Who else do you have on there?
We got Chris RL, Bro's from up north. He's got ties deep in Tawa in Wellington though, so it's good. He's been popping for the last couple of years. Bro's just had a baby, so he's on a bit of a family buzz at the moment. So I messaged him just to see what he was up to, and he was like, yeah, bro, no, I think it'll be really good for my mental health as well to come down and just spend some time on the music. He's a real talented dude, bro. Like, if you've never heard of him, go suss his shit. Chris RL. We got Trek 1. He's another Wellington staple. He's been around for years. He's been killing it, with so many people. He sort of stepped into retirement for a bit there and fucking hit the fucking mahi buzz and family buzz. And because he holds it down for his whole fam. So, he sort of stepped away and we've just rekindled our buzz over the last years or so. And I've just, been itching at him, like, come back. Because I feel like he's one of the most talented artists in Wellington, period. Like, he's nuts. He produces, he mixes, masters, fucking auto-tune king. He can play all these instruments. He's got he's just untapped potential. And, like, I feel like he doesn't get the flowers he deserves. So, trying to bring him back. Who else we got on there? We got Skilo. We got Indie Skies from Orcs.
Yeah.
She's been down a couple times, so she's dope. She's always dope to work with and just tee up with. She's a real cool chick. Skilo, fucking... It's going to be Skilo season soon, G, straight up. Like,
yeah, man.
His vault is insane. Like, once he starts dropping, you motherfuckers aren't even going to know. It's going to be like, oh, fuck. And then we got Levan. We got Hugh Tanner. We got we got Summer Love from Bad Habits crew. They got some mad music too. It's bro's first time on stage, so it'll be good to get him up and tested on the stage. Even though it's a fairly big night for him, like I felt like it's good because he's been around for a while now, and he's got a lot of love from the OGs, and it'd be good to see him do his thing. DJ Gooda, DJ Rumble on the decks. That's pretty much it. I think. Fuck, I have to look at the lineup. Bro, there's too many artists that I fucking got on my head all the time, eh?
Yeah.
But that's that lineup. And that'll be a mean one.
Yeah, that's next Saturday, right?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
14th. Fuck yeah, it'll be good. That Matariki long weekend.
Yeah, man.
Stars align, Beth.
So I forgot to ask before when you were talking about Sid Diamond. How is it like having to, when you have to, talk to these headliners, when you are a fan of them, but also having to kind of like tone that down and see them as a peer as well. Like, how is it?
I'm never fan, bro. Like, I fan, but like respectfully. I always fan like in public and shit. Like, I did a bit of a write up on my story, just saying how much I fuck with him and how much I respect that he's giving me the chance to put him on and stuff. But yeah, I try never fan name. Like, I just know, like, if I was a famous motherfucker, I would not want to be dealing with fans, like fans,
Yeah,
like,
man. Yeah.
like just the dudes that come up and they're like, yo, fuck, like, chill, like, I fuck with your music, or can I get a picture or some shit like that, all good, but those, like, fans,
Yeah.
don't know, eh? But, like, yeah, I separate that when I'm on the phone or I'm messaging them and stuff. I stay professional as fuck.
Yeah.
Still got my little swag and fucking horiness to it, though. Fuck. Can't be too fucking precious.
No, that's true. Last year we talked about like the crazy amount of talent that there is coming out of Porirua. Looking more at the broader Wellington sense, who do you think, in your opinion, are kind of like next up in Wellington? Like what, like cats that are just
195, the tribe, hands down. Those motherfuckers, man. Honestly, if they don't start getting the love they deserve, like, fuck, there's gonna be riots. Cause fuck, they shut down every show. There's always at least 50 motherfuckers that pull up for their shit. Like, they're nuts. They're definitely the ones that I feel like are like a good representation of Wellington. Skilo though, he's definitely gonna be up in there. He's just different, bro. He's an energy, that motherfucker. Like, that's weird because he's got like lyrical tracks. He's got all sorts of shit. Like, people put him in this box like he's some fucking 6'9" or fucking, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Can't just look at him and think he's fucking out the gate or something, but fuck, that motherfucker is on. Like, he's got a bit of everything, eh? And he's real respectful and, like, just handles himself well. But I feel like, 195, probably Skilo. Shit. There's a few other young cats too that I've been keeping my eye on. I'm not trying to fucking name names. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot or nothing. But fuck yeah. Like, I'm always just keeping an eye on the local scene, bro. Because fuck, you never know, eh? That's why I tell people to come through the gigs. Like, even if you're not on the gig, like, come through and network. Because that's the shit that I used to do, man. Like, how do you think I can fucking do all the shit that I do? How do you think I know people? Like, it's through those days, man. I used to be one deep, no squad, like, rolling into shows by my damn self, just so I could network and meet people.
Yeah.
It's what has to be done. I'm an introvert, bro. Like, I extrovert myself so I fucking get those opportunities, you know?
Yeah, man. I feel that I'm exactly the same. Like, you know, now, like, us being here right now, like I couldn't even imagine, like, networking with people in the scene, but I know it's the only way that you're gonna get somewhere.
Yeah, bro.
And that's how that's how things happen. You meet someone, then you'll meet another person, and so on and so on.
Exactly. Like, you go to a show and you meet one person that you weren't expecting to meet that knows this person or that person. You never know. Shit just spirals out of control. Then all of a sudden you're fucking in the studio with that producer that you've been following for fucking 10 years or whatever, you know? Like, it's just weird. Like, some of the experiences I've had, even like at Homegrown and fucking like Homebrew shouting out Oneroof on the stage of Homegrown, like shit like that, like blows my motherfucking mind. Like, going to get on the piss with Tom Scott and like, you know, like, even though these motherfuckers probably don't even know me, because I'm just, at the time I was just fucking no one, a cunt in the back, you know, that was friends with that guy, you know. But how did I know that guy? From getting out there, networking, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that. You never know. I just always tell people, like, fuck, get out there. Because I feel like that's a big thing that people don't do now.
Yeah.
Like, it's all like internet, through social media and shit. Like, I get that shit because I'm a part of it too. Like, I'm on the internet networking as well. But the real world shit is what gets you way more respect and gets you so much more time from people.
That's 100%, man. Like, you can, you know, talk up all you want on social media, but it's those face-to-face interactions that will, you know,
real.
that are genuine and that'll leave a mark, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? One thing I've noticed with artists around Wellington is that some will be very, very, like, what do you call it? Like, they're very, words escaping me. They'll be very active in the gigs and, you know, performing and all that, but almost won't have a catalogue online of music that you know, people can eventually go to. Yeah. Is that, like, do you see that as almost like an issue with some artists nowadays, if they're not willing to put their music out there? And
like, I know a few artists that do that. Like, they're just perfecting their sound and shit, and they use the live gig experience to soundboard what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. So they'll start playing those songs, and if they pop, you know, they'll keep working on those ones behind the scenes. But it's just the procrastination and perfectionism that takes it out of us, because we'll go back and we'll work on that shit, but it'll never quite hit like how you want it, you know. And then you keep working on it, and then next thing you know, 2 years gone down the line and their tracks are still in the vault, you know.
yeah,
So, like, I reckon it can be, it can be like detrimental at times, but it's also a good way to, like, know that you're doing the right mahi when you do perform that shit live.
yeah,
Especially if people hear your stuff live and they're like, fuck, what's your name? You know, where can I get your music? And if they can't get the music, then they'll get the next best thing, which is the handle, or, you know, the Instagram or the Facebook.
yeah,
And then you still gain a following, and then you can tease and build it that way. But yeah, I've always said that having music out's the best one. And it shows your growth too as an artist.
yeah,
Also, it's like people could fucking, you never know what your message could do for someone. You could put a song out and then they hear your lyrics and boom, they've gone from a shit day to a good day, or they've been inspired to do something that they wouldn't have done before, or so on and so forth. The list goes on. But I always say to people, you should give people an opportunity to feel those feelings, regardless of if you think it's good or not.
Yeah.
Put that shit out there and see what the fuck comes back. Because it's always like that. It's energy. You put that shit out and you get that energy back. And when you see people fuck with your shit, you're like, whoa, oh, shit, I didn't realize that people were out there actually giving a fuck, But that's how it is. I've always said numbers don't fucking matter either. I've seen dudes with, millions of fucking Spotify plays get no one moving at crowds. You know what I mean? So it's weird, when you look at the fucking outlay of the scene and, who thinks they're mean just based on numbers and plays and who thinks they're not, etc.
Yeah.
So that can be a detriment, but yeah, I feel like the people that do that, they spend more time on their music.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors anyway.
No, yeah, definitely. Me and Dandel touched on that in the last episode about working on your music so much that you are just trying to get it so perfect that, like you said, sometimes it'll just never sound that right.
It's always I always say this shit too, it's like chasing a dragon. It's like your first time getting high, you'll never be that high again. You know what I mean? It don't matter what the fuck you do, it'll never be like that. And that's the same shit with the music. You'll never be able to fucking get that perfect. It'll never be perfect, know? Unless you know what the fuck you're doing is actually building towards a point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they'll build and build, but they don't have an end goal. So they don't know what they're doing. They got no direction.
Yeah.
And then it's just a endless cycle of what sounds good here, and, infinite sounds. It's just endless, honestly. It's fun, yeah. Some people, they go so hard. It's like, fuck. That's why I feel like I'm blessed, because I'm just a rapper. I don't make fucking beats and shit, I'll dabble, have a fuck around, but, I could never see myself sitting there and fucking scrolling through a fucking snare for 2 hours until I find the right one. And then listening after that too, you'll find the right one, and then 2 weeks later you'll hear him, oh, fuck, that's not the right one. Shit like that. Fuck, man, I feel like some of these beat makers, man, their fucking mental fortitude must be so strong.
Oh yeah, man, because they're sifting through how a certain instrument sounds. I mean, it's the same instrument.
Exactly.
It may just sound a little different.
Or they'll chuck a fucking EQ on it, to fucking take this out of it or that. And it's like, fuck, you're really dissecting that one snare? Fuck. But that's what I mean. That's what separates, great beat makers and shit from, average ones, because they're ready to do that shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck, man, there's a thin line there between, fucking talent and just fucking insanity. A lot of people, though, shout out to Dyle too. She's got a mad vault. She's got a big ass vault, catalogue of fucking so many songs. So it's good to see her doing this shit finally.
Yeah.
Fucking, because there's honestly, especially females as well. There's a lot of females out there, but they don't do the mahi to get themselves out there. So it's good to see.
No, yeah, we talked about that in terms of the amount of female artists going around, and in terms of gigs and music online, there's really not a lot of them, to be honest.
It's few and far between, bro, for real.
Yeah.
Majority of them are just bedroom artists, or they do small pub gigs or, little venues like that, where they don't really get much, but there's not really a, driven female that's I want to be this in Wellington, I want to take over and be that for the fucking rest of the women in here,
yeah.
Whereas I feel like there's a lot of leaders or people that want to be like that for men, there's a lot of MCs or a lot of singers that they'll put themselves out there, or they'll do that fucking extra work to separate themselves. But there's a lot of females I feel have that talent, man, they're fucking right there, and if they actually grab it by the nuts, fuck that, that's them,
yeah, man,
they'll earn that lane.
What do you think is the best way for artists to come up? Because we touched on, networking, which I think is a huge one. But what do you think of those other kind of factors that they need to focus on?
Yeah, like networking is the biggest. Going out there and actually putting yourself out there. Paying for shit, that's a huge one. Like actually paying for beats, paying for fucking vocals, paying for mixing, mastering, so on and so forth. That's a huge one because it just bridges that gap, makes people feel like you're taking them seriously, you know? You're not just, oh, fuck, you know, I'll pay you this when, you know? You're actually fucking, here, bro, I've paid you. Let me, like, pick your brains or whatever, you know? That's another big one. Just hitting people up, being genuine, like, actual, like, on some fucking real shit, like, you know, like, how are you fucking, you know, like, I've been a fan, whatever. Or if you're not even a fan, or if they're just like another artist that you want to work with, just like, chill, bro, like, fuck, I love your music, like, that's us. I think we could do something, you know? Just put yourself out there, point blank, really, like, that's the main one.
Yeah. It's hard to, I guess, know where to start and, you know, putting yourself out there because it is a scary thing to do, you know, not just as an artist, but just, you know,
Bro, for
to
real.
kind of like approach people with that kind of like intention because but I think it's like you said, as long as you know you got that, as long as you're being genuine about it, then you know they'll notice that.
Yeah, exactly. That's with everything in life too. Like if you're just genuine and real, like, you know, no one can say shit because you've just been real. Like, you know, if someone's got a problem with you, that reflects on them. You know, because you've just been nothing but real with them and 100 always. So if you just keep it genuine and like transparency is another one, you know, like let people know what the fuck you're up to. Don't have people wondering like, oh, what is this guy trying to do, or you know, what is this person trying to get out of me, or so on and so forth. Like, just fucking be open and honest. Like, if you want something, just say that, you know, because 9 times out of 10, being open and honest will get you there.
Yeah, definitely. With the studio that you have at your place, you know, I've talked to people who have come through. Do you kind of see yourself as a bit of a mentor to artists that come through, or even new cats that wanna?
You could say so, but like I always say, like motherfuckers like Teasin come through. I'm not the most talented one in the fucking room when he's in there, you know. Like I'm not the one with the most knowledge when he's in there.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah, I could say like yeah, I can be a bit of a mentor, but like more so like I'm just a facilitator, you know. Like I try to be that one that can help you, you know, get shit or use shit or, you know, like get you in places where you need to be, or just even just like fucking life shit. Like if you want to ask me about some life shit, all good, fucking I'll tell you my experiences, so on and so forth. Like, so it's not really like a mentoring type shit. Like I'm not trying to guide you or anything, but I'm trying to facilitate your growth, you know. Like
kind of like giving people like a platform.
Yeah, bro. Because that's what the Vibe Lounge is about. Like my studio is about that, you know. Like I never had a place to record. Like shout out to DJ Ron, the DJ Academy, or the DJ school I should say. Because fuck, if I didn't have them, I wouldn't have learned nothing. Like, you know, I wouldn't have had an outlet to record. Because there was no one in Porirua doing this shit. Like, and if they weren't helping other motherfuckers. Like, you know, everyone wants to be the fucking star or the main character, you know. But fuck, I'm just here to fucking put their movie together, bro. I'm the director.
When Teason was here, we briefly touched on FIFA.
Oh, smoke everyone at FIFA. Fucking bring the smoke. Ask him what our last score was, bro. Ask him, bro. It was fucking double digits my way. It was like 14-6. Ravaged the bro. You know Tease, bro. I'm looking at you when I look down that barrel, bro. Smoke. FIFA Fridays, though, they're coming soon. So if you're down,
it was just what I was about to ask. I was going to say, I was like, when is this FIFA tournament happening?
Bro, straight up, they're going down. We'll sort it out. There might even be buy-ins, eh? We might do some money FIFA tournaments for that shit.
It'll make it a bit more interesting.
For real, you know? Ain't no sore losers. You know, just bring your fucking smoke. Fuck yeah, we on.
What does the rest of 2023 look like for you, bro?
More releases, some solo projects coming out, more features. Just dropped one with Trek 1 and Dirty Waters, R&D, Realists Never Die. Got a video coming out probably the end of this week for that. So that's one to watch out for by Lyndon Knights. Bro's fucking done a madness on that shit. Pretty much just more of what you're getting now. More gigs, more music, more support for other artists. We're really trying to build a fucking, like, a legacy here. We're trying to build a foundation, bro. And the ones that are really about it, you know, they know. And, you know, we're welcoming everyone else. But we're truly fucking here to take over, bro. Like, and not in a dominating fucking way or like a dictator way. We just want to really set the standard, you know, so that these motherfuckers in the scene and outside of the scene know what Wellies are capable of, you know. Because we can do it, bro. We can all do it.
Oh yeah, man. Everyone I talk to will always say that Wellington's very
Big time.
very underrated at the moment.
Massively.
Except to us, we know
Bro,
what
exactly.
it's about.
We
We know
know.
what it's about.
And that's why I say shout out to the Auckland cats too. Like, shout out to all the real ones that back me up there too. Like, fucking Brandon Shiraz, Dusty, fucking Ghost One, Naughty, Luca, Mello. Like, all of those Auckland rappers that are really doing it too. They back me hard now. They're always talking and shit and noticing what we're up to. So, like, yeah, like, we'll be looking to throw some Auckland Wellington cross gigs like with those guys and a few other cats soon.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned.
Hell yeah, man. All right, man. I think that's all we got time for today, man. Thanks for being here, bro.
Oneroof.
You've got a show next week. You got Rags to Riches Friday. Where can you get the tickets?
Cosmic Ticketing. Hit the link in my Instagram bio. Dylz 1RF. Shit, pretty much everywhere. You just look on socials.
Yeah.
We'll be fucking postering it up everywhere the next couple of weeks. We got giveaways and shit popping off too. We got merch items. We got drink specials. We got spot prizes and all sorts of shit. So, yeah, it should be a good night.
Damn, man. Gutted I'm going to be missing.
Bro, there's going to be plenty more, trust.
Oh, I doubt that. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on the pod. It's been Dylz. Thank you, man.
My man.